There's a kind of presence that enters a room, and everyone feels it. You can't explain it. You just notice it. Some people have it. Most have lost it. That thing, that invisible weight you carry is your aura. Not the mystical energy you read in esoteric books, but a real psychological presence built through emotional control, self-awareness, and how deeply you've met your inner darkness. But what no one tells you is this: your aura can die, slowly, quietly, without you ever realizing it. Every time you overshare, every time you fake confidence, every time you seek approval, you're bleeding power. And here's the worst part. Most people have already lost their aura, not because they're weak, but because no one ever showed them what was killing it. So if you want to protect what makes you powerful without ever speaking a word, stay till the end, because habit 7 is the one almost everyone ignores, and it quietly destroys even the strongest presence. Let's begin. There's a certain magnetism that lives in mystery. When you speak, when you reveal, when you constantly explain your thoughts and feelings, your aura begins to thin, not because expression is bad, but because mystery is power. Carl Jung once said, "To be whole, we must keep some parts of ourselves unknown." This wasn't about secrecy, it was about sovereignty. When you overshare, you're not giving people insight, you're giving them access. Access to your doubts, your fears, your weaknesses. Your internal energy becomes public property, and slowly, your presence fades into noise. In the beginning, oversharing can feel like connection. You feel seen, you feel heard. But over time, something strange happens. People stop respecting you. They smile at you, nod at you, but they no longer feel your presence. Why? Because you've already given them everything. There's nothing left to discover. Your mystery dies the moment you expose all of it. Aura isn't built by revealing everything, it's built by controlling what stays hidden. This isn't about becoming cold or fake. It's about choosing which parts of you deserve exposure and which are sacred. Oversharing comes from insecurity, the unconscious fear that if you don't explain yourself, people will misunderstand you. But that fear is exactly what robs you of power. The strongest aura doesn't beg to be understood. It lets silence do the work. When someone with real inner presence speaks, it's not the words that are loud. It's the energy behind the restraint, the pauses, the gaze, the space between thoughts. You feel it because they haven't wasted it. So if you feel like people stop listening to you, if you walk into rooms and become invisible, ask yourself this: did I give away my aura trying to be liked? The people who change a room without saying a word are not the ones shouting their story. They're the ones who've mastered the art of holding it in, until the silence speaks louder than words. Seeking validation in every interaction. There's a kind of energy that enters the room quietly and commands respect. It doesn't ask for attention, it doesn't crave agreement, it simply exists. Powerful, grounded, whole. But the moment you begin chasing validation, even in the subtlest ways, your aura begins to crack. Carl Jung warned that the self is often distorted by the ego's need for approval. And when your actions are driven by a desire to be accepted, liked, or praised, you begin performing. That performance may win applause, but it loses power. You smile too wide, you nod too much, you over-explain, agree when you don't mean it, laugh when you aren't amused. You've now abandoned your center. The irony: people can feel it. They might not consciously know what's off, but the vibe shifts. You don't feel like someone who owns the room. You feel like someone waiting to be allowed in. And the truth is, the more you seek validation, the more you tell the world you don't trust yourself. That's why some people, without saying a word, feel grounded, magnetic, intimidating even. Because they're not scanning the room for permission to exist. They're not wondering if you like them. They already chose to like themselves before they walked in. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the will to power, a force that doesn't seek applause but simply expresses itself, raw and unapologetic. That kind of presence intimidates people because it reveals what most don't have: inner alignment. Validation seeking destroys that alignment. Every time you adjust who you are to gain approval, you send a message to your own subconscious: I am not enough. And your body follows. Your shoulders drop. Your voice softens. Your eyes lose stillness. aura, which was once heavy and commanding, becomes thin and unstable. People feel your neediness, even when you smile. But when you begin to self-validate, something remarkable happens. You stop trying to control how you're perceived, and in that surrender, you become untouchable. Your energy sharpens. Your silence deepens. Your presence starts to grow again. You no longer need to convince anyone, because your energy speaks for you. So the next time you find yourself looking for a nod, a like, a reply, a reaction, pause. Ask yourself, do I need this approval? Or am I giving away my power to get it? Those with the strongest aura are rarely the most agreeable. They're the ones who've made peace with being misunderstood, because they'd rather be respected in silence than loved for pretending. People don't just control rooms, they control their reactions, and nothing drains your aura faster than being easily triggered. When your emotions are at the mercy of external events, your aura becomes reactive, not magnetic, unpredictable, not grounded, visible but not respected. Carl Jung believed that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will control us, and we'll call it fate. That means most people aren't reacting to reality, they're reacting to old wounds, hidden triggers, unconscious fears. And every time you react instantly, snapping at a comment, sulking at rejection, panicking in discomfort, you signal to the world, I don't own my inner world. Strong aura doesn't mean you're emotionless, it means your emotions move through you, not ahead of you. You don't get pulled into every debate. You don't defend your ego at every insult. You don't need to prove your worth with arguments. Instead, you observe. You pause. You respond. With clarity, not chaos. When people sense that emotional stillness in you, they hesitate. Because most expect to control others with reactions. But when you don't react, they feel like they've hit a wall, an invisible barrier of self-control. And that wall, that's aura. Sigmund Freud explained that suppressed emotion doesn't just disappear, it gets redirected, often into body language and micro-expressions. So even when you're calm on the surface but seething inside, people can still feel the unease. That's why emotional mastery isn't just about restraint. It's about resolution, facing your triggers, questioning your pain, healing the source, not masking the symptom. And once you do that, your energy changes. People begin to feel a new kind of weight when you walk in, not heavy from pressure, but heavy with stability. You become the calm in every storm, the one whose silence feels louder than their anger, the one whose stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting other people's chaos back at them. But here's the trap. Most people confuse reaction with strength. They think, if I don't speak up, they'll win. If I don't fight back, they'll think I'm weak. But the opposite is true. When you don't flinch, you show that nothing inside you is being shaken. And in that stillness, you become unshakable. That's aura. So next time something pokes at your ego, don't respond instantly. Hold the silence and let your calm become the loudest thing in the room. There's a quiet strength in those who don't justify every move. You feel it in their stillness, their calm silence, their lack of urgency to be understood. They're not hiding, they just don't need approval. But when you get trapped in the habit of over-explaining your choices, your silence, your emotions, you shrink your aura. You disconnect from your core just to make others comfortable. Carl Jung once said, the more you try to conform, the more you lose your true self. And that's what over-explaining does. It takes your energy and gives it away to people who don't even need the explanation. It starts subtly. You apologize for saying no. You explain why you're quiet. You justify why you need rest or have ambition. But over time, it becomes a performance, a desperate attempt to be accepted. Here's what no one tells you. People don't respect you for explaining yourself. They respect you when you don't need to. Because every unnecessary explanation sounds like a silent request for permission, and someone who needs permission can never own their presence. Real power is in stillness, in the ability to let your silence speak for you, in knowing that truth doesn't demand proof. It reveals itself with time. Over-explaining stems from fear of judgment, rejection, or not being enough. But people don't hear your words. They feel your energy, and insecurity is louder than logic. Want to protect your aura? Say less, explain less. Own your decisions without decorating them. When someone asks, "Why didn't you show up?" you simply say, "I needed time." If they say, "Why so quiet?" you just smile. That calm confidence is magnetic because it tells the world, "I trust myself even if you don't understand me." The loudest person isn't always the strongest. Sometimes the one who says nothing is the one who's truly powerful. Your aura is not just built by what you do, it's protected by what you withhold. When you're available to everyone at all times, in all ways, your energy becomes common, predictable, expected. And nothing kills power faster than becoming too easy to reach. Carl Jung spoke of the need for integration, pulling your fragmented self into wholeness. But when you're scattered across every conversation, every group chat, every social outing, every phone call, your self isn't whole anymore. You've become a social commodity, and commodities aren't respected. They're consumed. We live in a world that celebrates accessibility. Be online, be reachable, be nice, be responsive. But the more responsive you are to others, the less responsible you become for your own energy. When you're constantly replying, constantly available, constantly saying yes, your aura never gets time to recharge. And a depleted aura doesn't disappear, it turns into background noise. You're present but not felt, seen but not remembered. Think of the people you admire most. They don't respond to every message instantly. They're not at every party, they don't tell everyone where they are or what they're doing. They move like ghosts with gravity, rare, intentional, unreachable unless they choose otherwise. That's not arrogance, that's value protection. Psychologically, scarcity amplifies perception. The less people see you, the more they feel you when you appear. Your silence builds weight. Your absence becomes presence. But if you're always in the room, always talking, always saying yes, there's no edge to your presence. No pause, no contrast, just availability. And availability breeds familiarity, which eventually turns into invisibility. This habit, being too accessible, is often driven by guilt. You think being there for everyone makes you kind, generous, good. But Carl Jung would call that the shadow of the nice person, someone who's so afraid of being rejected. They sacrifice their boundaries for a false sense of belonging. Real aura is born in boundaries. When you choose solitude over popularity, when you say no, not because you're rude, but because your energy has value. It's in that withdrawal that your energy intensifies. It becomes concentrated, heavy, undeniable. So the next time you feel guilty for not replying instantly, or for not showing up to please someone, remember, every no is a deposit into the power of your presence. Let others be loud, let others be seen. You, be felt. There's a strange belief wired deep into us that if we shine too brightly, we'll make others feel small. That confidence must be hidden behind humility. That presence must be dim to avoid envy. But what no one tells you is, every time you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you kill your aura. You bury your light and water it down so it's easier to swallow. And slowly your energy stops speaking altogether. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But the tragedy is, most people never claim that privilege. They dim their thoughts. They mute their truth. They lower their standards, soften their walk, fold their shoulders. Also, they don't stand out too much. But standing out isn't arrogance, it's authenticity. When you've done the inner work, when you've faced your shadow and embraced your light, you don't need to apologize for your presence. Yet so many people do. They walk into rooms and immediately read the atmosphere. Who's insecure here? Who needs me to tone it down? Who will feel threatened if I speak confidently? And in that second of self-editing, their aura dies. Not because they lack power, but because they're afraid of how their power will be received. That fear doesn't protect you, it sabotages you. People can feel when you're holding back. They may not know what it is, but they sense the tension, the hesitation, the quiet discomfort in your voice. And the more you try to be safe, the less magnetic you become. True aura doesn't ask permission to exist. It walks in fully. It doesn't dominate. It radiates. And here's the real truth. People might get uncomfortable with your presence, but that's not your burden to carry. You don't shine to blind them. You shine so they can see what's possible. Shrinking doesn't protect their insecurity, it only validates it. You want to build an aura that commands silent respect? Then stop minimizing yourself in the name of false humility. Take up space. Speak with clarity. Hold your eye contact. Don't rush to hide your talents, your intelligence, your power, because the people who are meant for you won't be threatened by your light. They'll be inspired by it. Your aura isn't built by dimming it for others. It's built by honoring your full presence, even when it makes others uncomfortable. The most silent, destructive force that kills your aura isn't loud at all. It doesn't come from others. It doesn't come from hate or criticism or rejection. It comes from you, when you know who you are and choose to live otherwise. This is the death of aura, a life misaligned with the self. Carl Jung spent his life trying to awaken this truth, that the soul doesn't just crave safety or success, it craves integration. When your thoughts say one thing, your actions do another, and your soul whispers something else, you fracture. You may still be functioning, still social, still smiling, still showing up, but your aura, it's gone, because the world no longer feels you. It feels the version of you that you're using to survive. We fake passion to impress people. We fake kindness to avoid conflict. We fake strength to avoid seeming weak. And all the while we abandon what's real, just to play roles that win us approval in a world that doesn't even look us in the eye. This habit is dangerous because it's subtle. It doesn't ruin you in a day. It slowly leaks your energy, your vitality, your self-trust. You begin doubting your own voice. You second-guess your instincts. You apologize for your truth before you've even spoken it. But when a person aligns, when what they think, feel, say, and do all point in the same direction, you feel it. That's real aura. You can't fake it, you can't borrow it. You build it by living in ruthless alignment, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when the world misunderstands you. That kind of presence is heavy. It walks into rooms and doesn't have to speak, it's already speaking. Because everything about it, body, voice, stillness, silence, is in harmony. People may not understand what makes you different. They may feel confused, intimidated, curious, but they'll remember you. Because aligned people are rare. And in a world full of noise, they move like quiet storms. Undeniable, unshakable, unforgettable. If any of these 7 habits live inside you, don't panic. Awareness is the first step to restoring your presence. Your aura isn't gone. It's waiting for you to stop leaking energy and start reclaiming it. Don't rush. Don't fake. Just start choosing you again. Because the world doesn't need louder voices, it needs deeper ones, grounded ones, real ones, and if you've come this far, your presence is already shifting. Now, if you're ready to go deeper into building the kind of aura that silently commands attention, watch this.